for my exams while I sat for my exams just after delivering. But now you look at it, I got pregnant because of those reasons. But now there are other girls who get pregnant, they get married off because they've undergone FGM.
Yeah.
And at times we have these conversations with people from my community, and they say that there's a stereotype that when they perform FGM, they will reduce the sexual desires of the girl. So the girl will not have to get pregnant at a young age. But it's actually the vice versa.
Oh, yeah.
Once you mutilate the girl, you actually show them that now you're a big girl.
Enough.
You can now get married. And now that's where you find that they get pregnant, they have to drop out of school, they have to get married, and in most cases they don't get married to young people. Because again, this community and this family wants to have cows and money,
yes. Yeah.
so they get married off to an older man. And now you look at it, what are the repercussions? This girl will undergo cases of gender-based violence. And also, most of these girls, there are those who die along this. There are those who get fistula and all the other diseases that come with it. And actually, recently, we were having this conversation on climate change. And people were asking, what is the relationship between climate change and women and girls? And we looked at it from this perspective. From where I come from in Kajiado County, there's drought. So when there's drought, cows are dying. So when cows die, this family has to restock the cows that died.
So
and
it's the girl.
It's the girl who will actually have to get married off to pay that price. And if you have to be married off, it means that this girl will drop out of school immediately. And for this girl to get married off to this man, she has to undergo FGM. So she has dropped out of school. This means that her chances of achieving the dreams she had in her life have actually been cut short. Then she has to get pregnant. Because now definitely you're married off to this man. You won't stay in that house without getting a child. And you look at it, this is a 13-year-old, this is a 10-year-old who has actually been married off. And you look at it, there are so many reasons that actually lead to it. And our communities have normalized it. We have reached at a point where actually FGM is very okay. And I'm glad that you're having these conversations to be able to break some of the stereotypes.
It is not the first time that we're having such conversation.
Yes.
And so the fact that it's not the first time that we're having this conversation, sometimes I'm tempted to ask activism as well as advocacy, more or less the same language. Yeah. Maybe you were born and you had people talking about this, let's zero it. And she was born, she has undergone that. You're saying you're a victim as well. Just what is taking us so long from proceeding to achieve this one goal? And it's not even one, a couple of goals that she comes in and she shares her story. People can resonate. There are people who are out there willing to help, but years down the line we're still talking the same thing before she comes in.
Actually, it's also one thing that burdens me, that we are having the technical working groups for anti-FGM. We are having very nice policies for FGM. And I remember this one time, we were with these elders from the Maasai community. And they told us point blank in our faces that you will do the advocacy, you will call the girls under the trees, talk to them about FGM, they will know about the dangers. But when they get back home, they have zero control over it.
Wow.
And now we were asking, what are we supposed to do? And someone was telling us that you've actually focused on the girls and forgotten those people who make the decisions in the community. Because you find it's the older men and the older women who actually decide that it is time for these girls to go and get cut.
Well, and so here we are. Don't you sometimes feel like you want to lose the interest on this, activism conversation? Because if the men down there will remind you that they are in charge, they are in control, and to mean that things have to be done their way, which is what you're trying to discourage, don't you get to a point where you say, well, enough is enough, at least I saw the light, and I mean, to those ones that are going to be lucky to see the light, it's up to them. Or there's been progress?
Yeah, sometimes you feel like giving up, especially when you see that you are trying and you're not, there are no fruits that are being seen. But at some people, you see, especially when you are about to give up, you just feel or you receive a call telling you that you are doing something good. Keep on doing it, keep on going, you see. Like she has mentioned about men making decision. It is the same thing in my community, because they always say, hata kama unapigana, sisi ndo wenye uamuzi. You see, like in my community, there are these traditional men, we call them wazee wa kimila. Once they have decided, they have settled and arranged the things, they normally go somewhere, they call, wanaenda kwa mizimu. Once they visit those, you know, this is a traditional thing.
Yes.
So kuna hiyo mambo ya traditions zina.
Do they sometimes happen? Ili unasikia ati, oh, if you go against them, then, you know, thunder will strike you, and
they do.
They do happen.
They do happen.
You have witnessed that.
Yes.
So the fears are real.
Yes. For me, but sometimes I don't believe because this thing happened. I had to save people in my family, some girls. So like my dad called me, you know, I belong to that wazee wa kimila. So what are you doing? What am I going to tell them? No, he didn't know that I was the one who was behind the scene. So he was like, he was threatening, saying that if I know the person behind that who kidnapped the girls, then that person will face the music. Then I said, let the person face the music. And then for me, what I did, I went to church. I went and said, pray for me. I did this and this, and I need your prayers to protect me. You see, I need the blood of Jesus to cover me, so that whatever they're going to discuss there, whoever they're going to send those things to, they don't fall on me. They go back to them. So nothing happened. They don't know what transpired during that day. They up to now, they don't know who was behind that kidnapping of the girls, who stopped the girls from undergoing the cut. And you know, they had arranged everything
It's all set
for ceremony.
Let me ask, we have a lot of intermarriages today, and we have girls coming from different regions to these regions to get married. What happens, you know, with such girls? Because you can't rule out the fact that someone from Korea can go all the way to central Kenya and they get themselves a beautiful lady and they are married. Do you also subject, or are they normally subjected to the cut?
Okay, for those, in fact, you know something that happens, if in case a girl, a lady is married to my community and is not cut, by bad luck she gives birth in the house. Do you know that she will have to
on the process when she's giving birth,
yes,
without her knowledge?
Yes. So she will be nursing 2 wounds.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
and before you know it, you went through a process that you had not approved of.
Yes.
You have no idea.
Yes.
That brings me to this question. Have you established if there are any legal forms that are there to protect the girl child? Because you can imagine you are married off to this, or you're married to this community, and before you know it, you have undergone the cut without your knowledge. I think legally you're supposed to be protected. You know, you can report these people, you can report some of these cases. And even with pregnancy, there are instances where, you know, men are engaging with girls that are extremely young. That is punishable by law, I would want to presume. What are some of the mechanisms that are put on board legally? And I know you're not a legal expert, and so don't sweat so hard in trying to explain this. But of course, in advocacy, you want to look at all lines and all angles.
Yeah, so at times it's so sad because you are told that when these cases happen, you need to look for, let's say you go report to the police station, you go to the chiefs, they arrest that person, but you find that this is a cultural act. It is something that has been embraced by different communities. You find that even if I am to go and report and say that girl XYZ has undergone FGM without her knowledge, you will be told to go report it, let's say, to the area chief. And at times, this area chief is someone who is very well known to this family.
Okay.
Even if you are to go and say that this is the perpetrator, this is the person who did this act, they will be arrested today, they will be taken to court, but that case will be withdrawn. And right now, it is actually very sad that it's not just happening uko ndani kwa vijiji. It has come to the city. We were with some girls from those sides of Kajiado West, and they were telling us, kitambo they would go in Amanyata, and the cut is done there. But nowadays, they are brought to the town, to a hospital.
It's a medical, a professional.
It's a professional act. And you find that at times you and think this is a doctor who has been in medical school for 6 years. They know the effect and the harm of this act, but they're actually the ones who are doing it. And it's not just even in this as all counties, let's say Kajiado, Kuria. No, it's actually even in the communities and the tribes that we might say that this tribe doesn't enact this, because it is something that has been embraced. And as you've asked her, at times you want to change all the girls. It's also like the same thing with teenage pregnancy. If you can get that one girl that you can actually protect and say that this girl was about to undergo the cut, but I'm going to protect her. Because you see, this is a future you have saved. If you protect one girl from not getting pregnant, it is a future and a dream that you have saved. So I think it's actually time, even in as much as we are really trying to push for some of these policies. We are having the anti-FGM policy. Reports come out each and every time. The recent report that was released, it shows that cases of FGM actually have reduced, but they are still going on. So it's actually time even we look at how do we engage different policy makers, these people who are enacting the legal services, with people in the community. If we can create a bond with them and ensure that if we are to report this case to the chief, at times even want to go to court, but these girls can't even afford even a lawyer to offer pro bono services. Others undergo psychosocial torture. They need support to be able even to speak about whatever it is. So you find that these cases go unreported, and even justice is not served because of the issues we ignore. And
so that clearly tells us that there's minimal safe space for the girl child. And we keep talking about safe spaces where they can run and hide to, you know, where they can... clearly this cannot even be looked at as safe spaces, because then you're growing up, you're a child, you really want that motherly love, that fatherly love, you want to be in your own community, you want to be home, you want to feel loved. But to imagine that girls will now have to go to churches, some of them will run to, you know, these centers that have been set up for these purposes, just to get that safe space. What will it take for us to really get to the ultimate goal, which should be, you know, zeroing, as the advocate would tell you, zeroing the cases of FGM, zeroing these cases of, you know, early pregnancies? And I'll come to you perhaps to understand whether you'd advocate for family planning and all that. But then the safe spaces, just how safe are they for the girls anyway?
Like in my community, I can't say that our girls are safe. Even me as I speak today, because as I told you earlier, I got there hiding with some activities, and if they know that I'm against
I hope they're not watching. You know, for the very first time in life, I have wished that people are not watching something, you know.
You know, if they know that I'm against FGM, so that is something else. So you can find it that even they can attack my family, you see. So when, in my community, like particularly where I come from, I need that center, and that is what I'm
working towards.
Yes. Believe me, Linda, in my community, there is no any boarding girl school.
Wow.
In the whole community.
Day school.
Yeah. All are day school, mixed school.
Yeah.
So when that time comes, even if there is a girl who wished to be rescued or to run away, she has nowhere to hide. She has nowhere to run to. If, for example, you seek help from maybe, let me say that the police station, the distance from maybe that victim's house to the maybe
the station, and or maybe the safe space
to the safe space,
it
is a distance. And then walking at night, it is very dangerous. So you see, if we have that rescue center or a safe place where, and for me, I had wished if we had like a boarding school, a girls boarding school, where when we arrange our things, we plan our things, and then we say that at this particular moment, this activity is going to take place. Now, for those who are willing, or for those who don't wish to undergo the cut, they can run to this space, or they can hide there. Then, for me, I believe with much help or seeking help on how these girls can be accommodated, it is not something difficult. Another thing is, okay, many people, most people in my community, they have not exposed themselves. So you find, for example, if that girl is 9 years, she has undergone the cut, she's married off to an old person, then that is the end. The farthest way that girl has gone, maybe it is Kehancha, from Timaru to Kehancha, and then that is the end.
Never travel beyond that.
Never travel beyond. Okay, come to the exposure, like something like TV. Those things are not there. So for that person to, her mind to expand,
it's difficult.
she doesn't think about outside the box. Okay. It is just there.
Within.
She's within.
Wow.
So if we get that exposure to them, like we have different people coming to talk to them, we have that people who can help them during that time, like tuseme wako na space, wanaweza hiyo activity kifika, we just say tuko na activity fulani this month or this from this period of time to this time, then kuna wale wasichana wanafaa kuparticipate. So in that case, tunajua what you are doing. Tuna save our wasichana from undergoing the cut. Like I went to do documentary there. That was in 2020 in January. So that's when the people there are willing, especially the girls, wanasema sisi hatutaki, lakini tunafosiwa. Na the reason tunafosiwa ni kwamba hatuna mahali pa kujificha. Hata tukitaka kukimbia, tutashikwa, tutapelekwa. And then wale ambapo, those who have managed to escape, and then wanasema kwamba sisi tunaendelea na masomo, wakishamaliza, they come back home. In fact, they are taken by force, you see.
Oh. Even at that old age, maybe after school and all.
Yeah, there is a case of a girl from university. She was taken, in fact, she was taken by men themselves.
By force.
Yes. Okay. So there is this narrative venye inasema kwamba if you don't get that thing, you will not get married.
Well, and the fear is real. The girls will tell you. But let's speak about these ones that get pregnant at a very tender age. First of all, would you advocate for family planning at such a tender age? Because that has been a conversation that is on. Mothers are asked whether, even without the knowledge of this young kid, it would be wise to take them to hospital so that they can get family planning, because reality is that there's the engagement, and so we can't overlook that reality. But equally, for those ones that have slipped and they now are getting themselves back to society, back to feet, just how do we help integrate them?
So now I don't advocate for teenagers to use contraceptives or not use contraceptives. I want us to look at it in two ways. A girl who has made a decision while at a point where she was informed, and a girl who has made a decision with zero knowledge, those are two different girls.
Totally.
I remember when I got pregnant, I knew about protection and all that.
You did?
But it was put out in a way, while we were being told about it, you were told it's something very bad, you shouldn't even be seen with a boy, you see? And now you're a point of curiosity, you actually want to sample it. But even when you get pregnant, you have zero information on how to go about it. And now for me, I look at it from this point. When we are saying we're creating safe spaces, we need the physical safe spaces where these girls and boys can actually come in and get rescue and get support that they need. But can we offer the safe space of mental and psychosocial support?
Yeah.
Where we have teenagers that we work with who are in schools, and we have this conversation on sexual and reproductive health from a friendly point of view.
And across girls, boys.
And across both girls and boys. Because girls are the ones who are getting pregnant. But who are getting them pregnant?
The boys.
It is the boys. Can we tell boys and teach them on how to respect girls? That if a girl tells you, no, I am not engaging in this, that you as a boy or as a man, you can actually respect that. Recently, we were having a conversation on reproductive health with the youths, and you are asking them, if you're dating someone, will it be a girl who will make decision on what to do or a boy? And the boys told us it is us to decide.
Wow.
When we're having sex, what contraceptive we're going to use, because for you as a girl is to submit. And now we are creating spaces where we can have free conversations. We can tell them that actually teenage pregnancy is there, you will get pregnant. And these are the repercussions. And I give them a practical point of view from myself.
Yeah.
Right now I am here, I have overcome it, but looking at the struggles that I had to undergo while in school. I am pregnant, the baby daddy is not there. You have to undergo the stigma from teachers, every pupil know. You even can't access diet, you even don't know how to take care of yourself. We tell them point blank. And you tell them when you choose to abstain, this and this are the consequences. We talk about contraceptives. We tell them that these are the contraceptives that are there. But for you at this young age, it is not advised for you to take it. But
if you must.
If you must. Because again, we can't hide from the fact that we are in a generation that has access to the internet. They have access to this information. So we always actually tell parents that if you don't tell your child from a very young age, they will go and get this information out them.
While they're getting this information, they're engaging maybe.
Exactly. Because like for me, I have my daughter, she's 6 years now, and I tell her, she knows about menstruation. She knows that no one is supposed to touch her. She knows that actually people get pregnant. And you see, it is age appropriate. But now we have the girls who have already gotten pregnant. And we give them a second chance. Recently, we had a case of a girl who was 17 years old. She got pregnant. She dropped out of school. She's from a very vulnerable background. And she had to undergo the CS. So she underwent CS. She even doesn't know how to take care of the wound. 1 month later, she has gone back to school.
Wow.
This girl, we were asking her, have you even gone for checkup? She was like, I was even not told about this.
Right,
She has, her health has to be taken care of. She even doesn't get food. So we look at it, we want to give this girl a second chance. But at times you even ask yourself, there's no much that you can do. But the little support that you can give, if we can save this one girl and give her a second chance, it will actually make a big difference. If I was given a second chance, why not give that one girl a second chance in life?
Beautiful girls. You know, we have to close it that just like that. But I must admit that it's been quite a helpful conversation right there. And so before we call it a day, perhaps a minute to speak to the society, to speak to the girl child, to speak to this mission of advocacy and activism against, you know, FGM and teenage pregnancies, as well as, you know, having our girls being married off very early. We start with you, Mary.
Yeah.
Your parting shots. Okay,
for me, I would urge everyone who are willing to join enhancing this fight, because it is not a one-thing person. It needs more hands, it needs more minds, it needs everyone to join in, especially from those communities that are still behind. So we need everyone to join in. For me, I would encourage everyone, those willing, with good heart, and would invite well wishers to visit those places. We need exchange program from different communities, because if you visit an area, that's when you understand what they go through, that's when you understand the challenges they are facing. But even when I share here, it is like kind of a story. you know.
Yeah.
But when you visit, you hear the real story from the people, from when they tell you we are going like this, this is what we are facing this area.
Yeah.
So you as a person, you will feel that picture rather than listening or watching.
Right.
You know? Yeah, so I'm inviting people to Korea community, I'm inviting people to come and see, and I'm inviting people to come and make change, to come and change the society, because we need you people, we need all the well-wishers, we need partners, because for me or for those other organizations there, we can't without you. We can't without the government. We need the government, we need your help, we need your support.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And of course, Sue, strictly a minute or thereabout.
Okay, so for me, I will say we have so many untold stories in our different communities. If we can create spaces, and it takes one person. I took it upon myself to use my story and experience to reach out to other young girls. Can we get more people who can actually look at the problem that we are having and be able to come and tackle those problems? Can we give teen moms a second chance? Can we give teenagers in schools an opportunity to speak and tell their stories?
Yeah.
And can we also join hands? As she has mentioned, a lot is happening in our communities. We are very committed to this, but you find that you have very minimal support and resources to do this. So if we can come, join hands, look at what are we doing, can we complement each other and change our communities, even call upon the government, let us do this for the sake of our girls and boys.
And it's possible, and you know, much as it's been a fight of very many years, like you rightfully put it, we do not relent. And out of all these years, there's been progress. So that means maybe someday we're going to be talking of FGM, of early pregnancies, you know, early instances where we find our girls being married off early enough, or early, not early enough, early, you know, becoming a game of the past. So thank you so much for the great insights. Sue is an advocate for zero tolerance to teenage pregnancy, as well as FGM, and none other than Mary Chacha, who's an activist of anti-FGM. It's actually anti-FGM activist. Thank you so much, ladies. Once again, we do not stop. If you're just joining us, the conversation continues on our social media platforms. You know, share your experiences. Let's contribute to this conversation. Let's see ourselves getting involved to addressing this menace that bedevils our girl child. And you know, once the girl child is affected,